We'll begin then. Jai Shri Krishna. Om Narayanam Suragurum Jagadekanatham Bhaktapriyam Sakalalokanamaskritam cha Triguണ്यवर्जितमजं विभुमाद्यमीशं वन्दे भवघ्नममरासुरसिद्धवन्द्यं नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये देवं नारायणं नत्वा सर्वदोषविवर्जितं परिपूर्णं गुरुंश्च गीतार्थं वक्ष्यामि लेशतः लक्ष्मीनारायणं नत्वा पूर्णबोधान् गुरूनपि कुर्मः श्रीकृष्णगीतायाः भाष्यादुक्तार्थसङ्ग्रहम् Om. Welcome everyone. This is the weekly Pratipadartha. We were supposed to meet at 8 o'clock. We got a little late today. Got a little held up with something else. So we are starting at 8:30. Today we are starting from somewhere on the 16th chapter. Basically, when we recap, the last question from Arjuna, the question has come in the 14th chapter, and that question has three parts. The question is, Kedlingai Strin Gunaneta Natito Bhavati, Hey Prabhu. In sloka number 20. What are the signs of a person who has become Gunatita? Kedlingai. What are the lingas, the identification marks of a person, from which he has become Gunatita? And Kimacharaha. What are the actions of such a person? Katham cha etan trin gunan ativartate. And how is it also possible? How is it even possible that somebody can overcome these three gunas? So these are the three questions, right? The first question gets addressed in the same chapter, in the 14th chapter. Soon after that, pravrittim cha, nivrittim cha, prakasham cha, pravrittim cha, mohameva cha pandava, nadveshitam pravrittani, na nivrittani kankshati, udasina vadasino, gunairyo na vichalite, all of that. The indicative marks, characteristics of a person. That's the first question, right? Kaihilingai. What are the gurtus, identification marks of a person? And what are the actions towards later? The last couple of shlokas of this of the same chapter, introduces us to a concept called the Purushottama Yoga. Right? The person strives for excellence. Anything that you do, Mukta Sangaha Samachara. That's the kind of thing. Do it well for the sake of excellence. Mam sayo avyadhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Saha. Sagunan samatitya, not just atitya, samatitya. Nicely overcoming the gunas. Which means it's not separating from them. Being with them. Samatitya etan brahma bhuyaya kalpade. When you get completely aligned to the state of Brahma, Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. And Brahmano hi pratishtaham, then that Parabrahma will be explained, Urdhva Mula, Madha Shakam, all of that. Until towards the last of the 15th chapter, Yoma Meva Masam Mudhu, Janati Purushottamam, when you know the Purushottama Tattva in its fine, essential summary, the way it is so nicely described, in the 15th chapter. Sarvavid bhajati mam. That bhajana, that bhakti that was introduced towards the last couple of shlokas of the 14th chapter, that's the achara. Kimachara. What are the actions of a person who becomes gunatita? And how is it even possible? That is where he introduces us to the concept of Daiva Asura. How is it possible? I mean, it's a wish. You surrender to me, overcome the guna, Daiva Prakriti, Daivi Sampat, Daivi Sampat Vimokshaya. The concept is very simple. This was introduced long ago. 7 chapters spoke about it, 9th chapter gave a little more about it, because when you have the Daivi Sampat is where you go for the Jnana, Bhakti. That's the way he explains in the 9th chapter. In the 7th chapter is where he introduces the concept of Daiva Asura. Surrender to me, the Maya, the Prakriti is only mine. You just follow my footsteps. You have your bhoga, no doubt. Some prasada will come your way. The Prakriti is mine after all. She will definitely please you, but she is mine. Surrender to that fact, and you will easily overcome Maya. But Dushkrutinaha, Moodaha, Naradhamaha, you don't surrender to me. Asuram Bhava Mashritaha, all of that. He explains those things in the seventh chapter. And that's what he starts explaining. Now look at your own self and question yourself. What kind of qualities you possess, right? And he is very, very clear. Abhayam, Sattva Samshuddhihi, Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi. There are some 20 odd characters he lays down. For it's all self-assessment. Do it yourself. If you have these qualities, you have the Daivi Sampat. Right? In Daivi Sampat, you will easily overcome Guna. Guna is basically Prakrita. It's Prakritika. Prakriti is Bhagavan. She is herself. I mean, we see in the normal one moment, Prakriti is the same. She is what she is. If she becomes the Devi, if we surrender to Bhagavan. And we will acquire the Asari Prakriti. If Prakriti is the same, if I don't surrender to Bhagavan, if I have too much of I, me, myself, I will not be able to overcome. So he then goes on to explain, I think, sloka number, he says, Daivi Sampat Vimokshaya, Nibandhaya Asuri Mata. After all that, he explains that there are two Bhuta Sarga, in this loka. One is the Daiva, one is the Asura. And then from sloka number 7, he goes on to explain these are the Asuri Sampat people. Now, these are something that we need to do. With this kind of an Asuri Sampat inside all of us, I think there is no way to overcome the Guna Pitatva. No, Katham cha etan Treen Guna Ativartete, right? He had spoken about that very clearly. The Daivi Sampat is for Vimuktaya, Vimokshaya, and Asuri Sampat is Nibandhaya. We will be eternally stuck, stuck. So what are the qualities of that Asuri Sampat? Basically, he says, he makes this proclamation, right? Daivo Vistarashah Pruktaha. The entire Bhagavad-Gita, we are only hearing the Daivi qualities, right? When we look at the messages all through Bhagavad-Gita, it's all towards the Daivi Sampat. And about elaboration of those Daivi Sampat, we see in the 12th chapter towards the end. Later part, we hear all the Bhagavad Bhava, right? Advaita, Sarva Bhutana, Maitra, Karuna, Evacha, Nirmamo, Nirahankara, Samadukha, Sukakshami, all of that, good qualities. Bhagavad Gita has spoken about the Devi Sampat plenty. All the Vibhuti Tattvas are all Devi Sampat, right? Vibhuti in the 9th chapter, in the 10th chapter, in the 7th chapter. Vibhuti, while the chapter is only 10th chapter is Vibhuti, comes from the time where he starts off, Rasoham Apsu Kaunteya, Prabhatmi Shajisurya Yohu, Pranavah Sarva Vedeshu, Shabdah Ke Paurusham Nushu, Punyo Gandha Prithivyancha, Tejaschasmi Vibhavaso, Jivanam Sarva Bhuteshu, from the 7th chapter, right? That's the Para Prakriti, Apara Prakriti, right? Where he starts explaining the Jnana, Vijnana. So Daivi has been spoken. In the 13th chapter, we saw, all of that, Amanitvam Adambhitvam Mahimsa Shanti Rajavam Acharyopasanam Shaucham Said. Bhagavad Gita has spoken Daivi Sampat plenty, right? And Arjuna is not enough because sometimes the Daivi Sampat tends to mask itself, or the Asuri tends to mask it. So Bhagavan gives this pratigna. Daivo Vistarashaha Proktaha Asuram Parthameshanu. So this chapter, in the first couple of slokas, he summarizes the Daivi Sampat, right? Whatever has been told so far. Now the elaboration is on the Asuri because when we know what to avoid, this is like how the regulators work. When we look at the corporation, we have to have the regulatory reportings and things like that. I want to design something. You go ask the regulators what need to be done. They will not say, I don't. They perhaps don't have a clue. You tell them this is what I do. Then they will be. Then they will have amazing list coming out. What not to do. Don't do this. Don't do this. They all know what not to do. Regulatory system works well only because they only know what not to do. They have no idea what to do. That is our choice, right? So now Bhagavan does the same thing, gives the list of things to avoid. So he is giving the list of the Asuri Sampatti, right? Sloka number 7 onward, this entire chapter is now elaboration on the Asuri because we haven't spoken about that. Who are they? Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha janana viduhu. These Asura Jana people, they don't know Pravritti Nivritti. Na Shaucham, there is no cleanliness. Na Achara, na Apicha Achara. No, there is no Achara, which is Shastrabadha Achara. Na Satyam Teshu Vidyate, they have no clue of Satya. Satya, that's the thing about Satya. Satyam, Satyasya Vachanam Shreya. That's the sloka, no? Sutaji, Karna Parva. Satyajnanam tu dushkaram. What's that? Karna Parva? Hitam, no? It's the hitakara for the noble people.
Yes.
Satyam. Na satyam teshu vidyate. Basically, they have no regard for the welfare of the noble people, welfare of the nobility. That's what's in it for me. Basically, it's all about themselves. I, me, myself. There are certain noble people. So, satam hitam sa satya iti nischaya. See, we have, and that's a very interesting episode in the Karna Parva, where Arjuna had taken a pratigna that he will not spare anyone who insults his Gandiva. Now there is a lot of heated movement happening. Karna is in total rampage, and Arjuna has taken the oath that he will do the samhara. Now others are hands tied. Bhima could have easily nipped the threat from Karna long ago, but he's waiting for Arjuna to fulfill the pratigna, right? He has taken the oath. So Krishna explains, see, Satya's, charana, acharana is great. Shreya, Satyasya, Satyasya charanam Shreya, something like that. But Satya, understanding what is Satya is extremely difficult. Satya jnanam to dushkaram, something. Satyasya jnanam dushkaram, something like that. Right? So in the Krishna tells this to Arjuna. Yes, Satam, Hitam Atyantam, Sukham Atyantam, something like that. The one that really provides the Hita, Sukha to the noble people, Satam, that's Satya. Right? Satya, because, no Satyam Teshu Vidya. These Asuri people have no clue of Satya. Asatyam apratishthante jagadahu. They say this Jagat is Asatya, Jagat is Apratistha, Jagat is Anishvara. These are the kind of mentality they have. So, Aparastara Sambhutam Kimanyat Kamahaitikam, just because of the lustful communion of one and the other, everything has come up to being in happenstance, like, Achanak, everything which has come to being. Etam Drishtimavastabhya Nastatmanaha Alpa Buddhaya, keeping this kind of a view, these Alpha Buddhi people, Prabhavantigra Karmana, they take up violent activities. Chayaya Jagato Hitaha, desiring destruction, unwelfare. Yes, Satam Hitam Atyantam Satya, they don't have. So Ahitaha. Chayaya, they come for the destruction of this society. Kama, Mashritya Dushpuram, Dambhamana, Mada Anvitaha. They are loaded with Dambha, the hypocrisy, arrogance, Mada, toxicity, Kama Mashritya, too much of desire. Moha Grihitva Sadgrahan Pravartanti Ashuchipataha. Completely deluded. They don't do any rightful activities. Chintam Aparimeyam Cha. They keep worrying endlessly. Pralayantam Apashtaha. Kamopabhoga Parama Eta Vadipinshitaha. And keep on doing things more and more for their own sense gratification, and there is nothing else. Right? Nothing else according to them. Asha Pasha Shatair Baddhaha, bound by so many attachments. Kama Krodha Parayanaha. Easy to get triggered. They will not spare anyone that comes their way. So Krodha is natural. Parayanaha, they're constantly in the Kama Krodha. And they are the same, right? Kama Esha, Krodha Esha. They are all Rajoguna Samudbhava. And nothing wrong. Most people fall into this category. Like today, when we look at the management teaches us to management by objectives. These are not Asura doesn't mean that we have two horns, one long canine teeth. No, not the way they show in the cartoon depiction. Asura is Asushu Ramate, Asushu Rataha. People who take pleasure in sense. Asu is basically sense. Indriya. Indriya is the asu. So you take pleasure in the asu, in pleasing the senses. You have asuri swabhava. Most of us have it, right? So we shouldn't have the. I mean, the whole point is we have to reduce them. We have to be aware of them. We have to reduce them, and that's how to become the gunatita. Katham cha etam trin gunati vartate, right? So understand these kind of things in all of us, like asha, pasha, shutairibaddhaha, people bound by so many different asha, desires, kama, krodha para, ihante kama bhogartham manya yenartha panchayan. Sometimes they also go lobha, right? I mean, you have the desire to make it happen. Like most of us would have bribed a police cop, or to get the passport done in the police station. We have to bribe. That anyayena, some wrongful work we will see today. The corrupt society is also so corrupt. Some people tell me, I mean, when I say I will not drink coffee without taking bath, something like that. We go for a camping, something like that. So I have some personal discipline that I will not take anything without blah blah blah. So there's some, see, we keep creating something around ourselves, right? As human beings, we had this joke. I had a classmate. His mom used to keep on scolding. Hey, what is this? You go have tea without brushing the teeth and all. Isn't that unhygienic? He would answer, does the tiger brush its teeth? Some nonsense like that. Tiger doesn't brush the teeth, I believe. So this guy also shouldn't. Animals don't do. Animals don't have any nitya karma. They don't have to brush the teeth. They don't have to take bath. They don't have to wash. They don't have to wash hands. Like, nothing. See, this is where the human life goes slightly different. We have the nitya karma, and the higher the evolution, the mental, it's all after a point in time, our evolution is all in the mind. It's all internal, right? It's all soft evolution. So in that kind of a little evolved state, even things like sandhya, japa, all of these, agni karya, brahma yajna, all of these things become part of the nitya activities. We have to do that, right? It just becomes internalized, for all of us. But these are the people, right? They kind of, go wrong in many, many instances, in a desirous way. And that is not wrong. See, our society today, the management is largely driven by management by objectives. You do this, you get that. So there is a desire, the carrot and stick, we call it, the checks and balances. The design itself is to kind of, and sometimes you go anyayena artha sanchayan. Like, if you have to stop somebody, we have seen that in the rat race. Like, for your growth, you pull down somebody, slander them, campaign badly. And these days, this has been glorified as presidential debate. When we look at the presidential debate and the political discourses, everyone is trying to put down the other person, or at least it appears like that, right? So obviously, anyayena, sometimes you manipulate the opinion through paid articles, news feed. This is rampant, and the more we see, they are also getting appropriated into a normal society. And then, Ida Madhyamaya Labdham Imam Prapsye Manoratham, I have gained this, I'm going to get that tomorrow. Ida Masti Damapi Me Punar Bhavishyati Punardhanam, this is what I have, this much more I will have. All of that, I, me, myself, I get this, I do that, all of that. Aso Maya Hatah Shatruhu, these are killed by me. Anishcheta Paranati, and I'll kill a few more. I kill. See, I kill is so nice, no? Aso Maya Hatah. That's the kind of ahankara Arjuna has. Na yosye, I will not kill. Ya enam veti hanta. So, eta na hantamichami. Like, he says some lines like that, Arjuna. Like, he somehow was drifting to that, Ishvaroham aham bhogi, I am the God. Ishvaroham, I am the God. People say that. See, there is another line called Aham Brahmasmi. So, one of the acharyas who made that line very, very famous, Adi Shankara Bhagavad-Gita, he has given us a very beautiful explanation about how to do the Chintana of Aham Brahmasmi. Right? Some people think that they are already God. They don't have to do anything, right? But that's wrong. Adi Shankara also has given that the thing in the Upadesha Sahasri that Aham Brahmasmi Bhokta Cha Karta Chasmi Tiye Vidu. People who think that I am the independent Bhokta Karta Brahma, They nashta. They are completely lost. Jnana karma abhyam. Both in the karma and the jnana. They don't do right things. They won't know the right things. Facts. Nastikaha. Like, they are indeed nastikaha. No samshayaha. Something like that, right? So, Ishwaroham, Aham Bhogi, Siddha Aham, I am the Siddha, Balavan, Sukhi, all that, all to themselves. Very clearly, Krishna has already mentioned those Daivi Sampat, right? Na kartrutvam na karmani lokasya sujati prabhu. Na karma phala sanyogam svabhavastu pravartate. There is no independence at all, right? Adhyo bhijanavanasmi ko nyosi sadrisho maya yakshe dasyami modisya itya jnana vimohitaha, right? So, uh, Adhyo bhijanavanasmi, I am the wealthy, I am the rich, who is better than me? No, yakshe dasyami. No, I will offer so much, I will sacrifice so much in the yajna. Okay. Aneka chitta vibhrantaha. This is the last sloka we saw. So these are the qualities of the Asuri Swabhava that Krishna is elaborating. When we look at them all, Aneka Chitta Vibhrantaha, deluded by various temptations, attractive temptations, Vibhrantaha, Moha Jala Samavrataha, completely captivated in the Moha Jala. So, Prasakta Kama Bhogeshu Patanti Narakeshu Chau. So much of asakti in Kama Bhoga, in Ashucha Naraka they will fall into. Atma Sambhavitaha. This is the sloka we have to see. Shraddhaji, would you like to follow? We'll do some guided chanting
Yes,
on this.
Ji.
Harihi Om. Atmasambhavita stabdha
आत्मसम्भाविताः स्तब्धाः
dhanamanamadānvitaः
धनमानमदान्विताः
yajante nama yajñeiste
यजन्ते नाम यज्ञैस्ते
dambhena vidhipurvakam.
दम्भेनाविधिपूर्वकम्।
Krishna Krishna. So, Atmasambhavitaha, Stabdhaha, Dhanamana Mada Anvitaha, Yajante Nama Yajnehi Te Dambhena Avidhi Purvakam. These are the words. And when we read it into an Anvaya, He Bharata, He Kaunteya, He Arjuna, Te Atmasambhavitaha, Stabdhaha, Dhanamana Mada Anvitaha, दंभेन अविधि पूर्वकम नाम यज्ञैहि यजन्ते. Right? These are more qualities of people who have the asuri. We click on a link called dictionary. When we click on the link, there is a web link that we have pinned under the room title. Shraddhaji has given this web link. You can follow the script. Will directly within that you have a small hyperlink called dictionary. Right? That will help us understand what the meaning is. They are the ones with the asuri swabhava, right? They atmasambhavitaha, self-praising of a self-regarding ostentation. Basically, they are self-praising. They just like they do glorification of themselves. Stabdhaha, obstinate, na narmata, na narmada. There is no naram, na stabdhaha, obstinate. Dhana mana mada anvitaha, shrouded with covered with, always filled with dhana mana mada, pride and toxicity, honor and pride of wealth. Dambhena, too much of boastful way, for self-pleasing way. Dambhena with vanity. Okay. Avidhi purvakam nama yajnehi yajante. Without proper vidhi also, by different nama yajna, the name of different deities, they yajante, they sacrifice. So much for the see today when we look at the society, there are a lot of people especially in the village areas, and this is quite common. They do a lot of these, sponsor a lot of these events, primarily to be in the good books of the larger public. And there is some ecosystem, like if you are, say, an estate owner, you own in the hilly region, you own acres of land in the coffee or the tea plantation. You would obviously want to keep the people happy. So uh, I might be doing some Amma Puja, Amma Jatra, when the Navaratri comes, like, we will do this puja and all. But basically, people do that for their self glorification. Suddenly, for the pomp and show, they might compromise a little bit on the vidhi from the procedural, like these days, right? For attraction, for better name, you might even have to come up with an orchestra where some filmy songs will be played and some hip gyrating moves will be performed on the stage. Different things are possible, but most of these things, Avidhi Purvakam, doesn't really bode well with the jatra, the puja that is being conducted, completely taking the mind and attention and concentration away. So Avidhi Purvakam, basically for self glorification, Atma Sambhavitaha, because they just praise themselves. And we do that. All our, like today, the amount of plastic waste that gets generated in the way we celebrate our festivals. Our festivals are meant to be absolutely eco-friendly. Our all our practices are meant for in alignment. Uh, forget plastic. The kumkuma we use in our puja, we have no idea what it is. Okay, that is beyond our control in certain instances. The oil we use for our puja, these days there is a perfumed puja oil. We have no idea. In the Shastras, Taila, the very name Taila comes from Tila. Tila is the sesame seed. So the til oil. Til oil is Taila. There is no other. There is no coconut Taila. There is no groundnut Taila. Taila has to come from Tila. Right? So Abhiti Purvakam, we have done things for our own Dambachara. Right? So Dambhena. Yeah. So basically, Krishna is now giving the list of all the Asuri Svabhava, right? People. Let's quickly see what Aurobindo interpretation says. They sacrifice, perform yajna, basically. They sacrifice and give not in the true order, Avidhi Purvakam. Basically, the English translation goes a little off track. They sacrifice yajnaihi, Avidhi Purvakam, but from a self-regarding ostentation. No, to praise them because they are Atma Sambhadita, from vanity and with a stiff and foolish pride. So, Dhanamana Madanvita. Again, English translation and the Hindi. I'm bad at Hindi. अपने आप को बड़ा मानने वाले what ढीठ ढीठ is it ढीठ धन के कारण अपने आप को पूज्य मानने के अभिमान के मोह में चूर वे आसुरी मनुष्य दंभ के साथ केवल नाम प्राप्त करने के लिए यथार्थ विधि के बिना यज्ञ करते हैं something like that, right? So when we look at that, the Hindi one or any regional language, when we look at Samskrita shlokas in our regional language, the rasaswada, the meaning will be much better. Unfortunately, this is the room for English speaking audience, so we have to live with those shortcomings. But those of you who are able to, please look at the the Hindi translation as well. I mean, see, I am bad at Hindi, but we all share Samskrita, right? In all our language, we have that load of Samskrita, because of which we will be slightly better off. So my bad Hindi will not really stop me from reading Hindi, right? I have a few books from Gita Press Gorakhpur. Some of the good ones, they are unfortunately available only in Hindi, but we need to cultivate that. It's all our literature, right? We have to read them. So shloka number 18, Shraddhaji. Ahankaram balam darpam
अहङ्कारं बलं दर्पं
kamam krodham cha samshritaah
कामं क्रोधं च संश्रिताः
मामात्मपरदेहेषु
मामात्मपरदेहेषु
प्रद्विषन्तोऽभ्यसूयकाः
प्रद्विषन्तोऽभ्यसूयकाः
कृष्ण कृष्ण अहंकारं बलं दर्पं कामं क्रोधं च संश्रिताः माम् आत्मपरदेहेषु प्रद्विषन्तः अभ्यसूयकाः. So this website, no, beautiful one. No, it's a nice material. There is something called the Padacheda. That's what I just read. No, the words of the sloka are broken down, and they will be arranged into a proper sentence. So, the sometimes in the shloka the words are a little bit jumbled up. Doesn't make a difference in Samskrita, but we are used to our local language. So Anvaya, the section just above Padacheda, gives us the shloka, broken down shloka words in a prose order, in a proper sentence. Ahankaram, balam, darpam, kamam, krodham cha samshitaha te asuri swabhava yuktaha. No, te अहंकारं बलं दर्पं कामं क्रोधं च संश्रिताः अभ्यसूयकाः ते आत्मपरदेहेषु मां प्रद्विषन्तः. These are the Krishna is telling Arjuna. These are more qualities of people with asuri swabhava. To get the meaning, we click on dictionary. Ahankaram, the ego, ahamkara. It's all about me. Balam, strength. See, dharma aviruddha. Okay, but and dharma aviruddha also means that without any selfish desire, kama raga vivarjita. So when that kind of a bala, that's the devi bala, the strength which is for paropakara, not for our own personal thing, right? So this, when we say the bala here, because he had given us that warning, balam balavatam chaham kama raga vivarjita. The kama raga vivarjitam balavatam ahameva balam. The strength in those people without selfish kamaraga, that bala is Bhagavad Tattva. So that's Devi Tattva, right? So, but this bala is something else. It is not kamaraga vivarjita. This is preceded by ahankaram balam. This is not just balam. This is ahankaram balam. Darpa, arrogance. Darpa is having high pedestal view about ourselves. Right? I can I can please God anytime. This is the kind of a thing that we have. We always say this, right? I do this. Darpa. Thinking too much about myself. Okay. Kamam, Krodham, they're all the same. Samshritaha, taking complete ashraya, taking complete refuge in these things. Abhyasuyakaha, basically keep finding fault in everything. Jealousy. Atmaparadeheshu mam, me, who is in the paradeha of everyone, hidden in themselves and in others. Mam, me. Pradvishantaha. Pradvishantaha. Prakarshena dosham karoti. Something like that. Pradvishantaha. Oh, they hate me. Like we say that, right? Bhagavan, let me see if you can stop me from this. Today I will spread all horrible things about Bhagavad-Gita. Bhagavan, let's see if you can stop me. Right? Oh, Bhagavan, you make me do this good thing. You want me to do good things? You make me do this. Let's see if you can make me do this. Something like that. We have this ability. Pradvishantaha. We keep hating him in everything. But the one who is in everybody's body, Atma Paradehi Shumam. Right? So these are the other qualities of the people with Asuri Sabhava. What does Aurobindo say? In the egoism of their strength and power. Oh, Ahankara because of Bala and Darpa. The Ahankara because of their Bala and Darpa, because of the position, power they have. In the violence of their wrath and arrogance they hate. Okay, because they are constantly with that Kama Krodha, Samshitaha, right? They can easily get triggered. You're going to do this to me? Let me see what I'll do to you. Right? That Kama Krodha Samshitaha, always in their violence, wrath, and arrogance. And Mam, Atma Paradeheshu Mam, Pradvishanda, despise and belittle the God hidden in themselves and the God in man. So he despises Abhyasuyakaha and belittles that God, that very Nirdosham hi Samam Brahma. No, Samam Pashyan hi Sarvatra Samavastita Ishwaram. There is that Ishwara Tattva inside all of us. But that Ahankari, that Asuri Svabhava person, will be belittling that God in everyone. Basically, no regards for anyone in the society. That's what we are. When we when at least, I mean, this is my experience. When I go in the highway, many a times we see through certain classes of people, right? When we go in the streets, we don't really admire and behold, soak up ourselves in the moment completely everywhere. For with many things, we are just seeing through things. Not that our eyes are incapable. Recently, Sadhguru had this thing. He was questioned in some interview. He was asked, there is an accusation that you only interact with the celebrities. You don't interact with not so great people. His answer was splendid. His answer was that's your problem. I have my interactions with everyone. We have outreach programs in the schools, blah blah blah. But there are moments I'm going to interact with some the rich and famous as well. And you are only bothered about that. He's blaming the media in turn, which is I think which is right, because that's how our mind also works. When we look at the song and dance of a movie also, we barely even look at the face of the side dancers. Our focus is purely on the hero heroine, quote unquote hero heroine. That's the concept we have. So we see through many things. We see through many beings. We see through many divinities. Every living being is a divinity. They carry the divinity, right? Narendra Modi made this statement once. My heart breaks even for a puppy that comes under my car. Very beautiful sentence, right? People are asking, don't you feel sad for this? Don't you feel sad for that? His answer is simple. This is the Sanatana Dharma. We feel sad for everything. Wherever there is sadness, we feel sad for that. Our focus is now we have somehow developed this autofocus. Our sense organs are not sharp anymore. Our sense organs are increasingly getting conditioned under bias. You you hear this only if this kind of a thing comes. Otherwise, you just shunt yourself completely. So basically, here Krishna is talking about these are the people who see no end of themselves. They don't necessarily respect that Paramatma Tattva that there is in everyone. Many a times we are simply discarding people. I mean, in my initial days in the corporate world, one observation I did was, at least in India, the management, predominantly, most of the managers are of the type where they just blindly say no to everything that comes as a suggestion, feedback from people below them, and a blind yes to anything that comes from above them. So basically, the buttering people, they will push the people who are lower their rank against the wall constantly, and they are always with the bucket, open bucket for anybody who's a senior, right? So they are the ones who people who don't really regard. They are constantly discarding the Paramatma Tattva that's in everyone. No, Nirdosham hi parasa samam brahma, tasmad brahmani testitaha. These are some of the earlier messages, Uh, समं पश्यन् हि सर्वत्र समवस्थितमीश्वरम् न हिनस्त्यात्मनात्मानं ततो याति. So something that we had heard in this came in the 13th chapter, right? So ahankaram, balam, darpam, in the egoism of their strength and power, in the violence of their wrath and arrogance, they hate, despise and belittle the God hidden in themselves and the God in man, in that particular man. With that, we will go to the next shloka. Hari Om. तानहं द्विषतः क्रूरान्
तानहं द्विषतः क्रूरान्
संसारेषु नराधमान्
संसारेषु नराधमान्
क्षिपाम्यजस्रमशुभान्
क्षिपाम्यजस्रमशुभान्
आसुरीष्वेव योनिषु.
आसुरीष्वेव योनिषु.
कृष्ण कृष्ण. तान् अहं द्विषतः क्रूरान् संसारेषु नराधमान् क्षिपामि अजस्रम् अशुभान् आसुरीषु एव योनिषु. Right? These are the words of this shloka. Right? When we put that into a proper sentence, we get the Anvaya, right? On the web page, we see Anvaya. We are on shloka 19. Tan dvishataha ashubhan kruran samsareshu naradhaman aham ajasram asurishu yonishu eva kshipami. See, this is something that we need to understand with a little bit of intelligence. Bhagavan is telling, I will do something. What does he do? Tan dvishataha ashubhan kruran. Those no haters, dveshatah, dvishatah, dveshi, constant dveshi, dvishatah, ashubhan kruran, full of ashubhatva. Ashubhatva is a feeling we all carry. In fact, when you look at the Bhagavad-Gita, whenever we hear the word moksha, mukti, mukti primarily is from ashubhatva, not from anything else. There is no mukti from life. Life is such a beautiful thing to experience, right? Ashubhatva is only an internal feeling. Oh, is this nice? Is this wrong? Am I in the right track? Anything that holds us back in the thought is the Ashubhatva, ill feeling, evil feeling. So, Tan Vishataha Ashubhan Krura, those hateful Ashubha Kruris who are Samsareshu Naradhama, they are the lowest of the people in the Samsara. Aham Ajasram, I will continually, always Asurishu yonishu eva kshipami. I will cast them repeatedly, continuously into the Asuri birth, Asuri yonis. Asuri is basically self-gratifying yonis, like the pig. Like the pig. Pig is an ultimate self-gratifying. Most of the animal kingdom is like that. When we see the messages also, there are animals which are known for masters of one particular sense gratification, like Kuranga, the deer. Deer is all about hearing. It's a master of hearing, Kuranga. No, Matanga, the elephant. Elephant is all about touch. No, it's the king of touch experience. The skin. It loves the water. It loves the sand. Elephant is Kuranga, Matanga, Patanga, the moth. Patanga is the master of sight. It'll go into the fire. So much of sight it gets attracted to. It not only likes the sight, it follows the sight and follows the fire in search of the sight. Right? The moth, patanga, bringa, it lays itself into the trap of the plant in terms of its smell for the taste, for the thing, for the smell of the flower. It offers itself into the flower. There are these carnivorous flowers, right? They just close their petals. So the bringa, it has the ability to offer its life. All of these animals, right? So animal kingdom is known for asushu rati, that that sense gratification kind of a life, asuri yunishu, and that's and even in the human life, which appears to be a human birth, we have a lot of people with tons of truckloads of animalistic instincts, right? Yeah, underdeveloped societies, not just amongst people. There are societies which still behave like animals, slaughterhouses, hurtful, hurting one another, absolutely, completely disconnected from the dharma, right? So I will relegate them, I will cast them. So those repeat offenders who are hateful by their nature, these are the kruris, ashubha kruris, who are the naradhama, adhama among the people in the samsara. So these are the people who will be permanently, continually relegated to Asuri Yoni, which means these are the people who will repeatedly come back to the samsara in multiple different lower yoni, lower birth. These proud haters of good and of God, evil, cruel, vilest among men in the world, I cast them down continually into more and more asuric birth. Very simplistic translation. Let's see the next sloka. Harihi Om. आसुरीं योनिमापन्नाः
आसुरीं योनिमापन्नाः
मूढा जन्मनि जन्मनि
मूढा जन्मनि जन्मनि
मामप्राप्यैव कौन्तेय
मामप्राप्यैव कौन्तेय
ततो यान्त्यधमां गतिम्।
ततो कृष्ण ततो यान्त्यधमां गतिम्।
कृष्ण कृष्ण आसुरीं योनिम् आपन्नाः मूढाः जन्मनि जन्मनि माम् अप्राप्य एव माम् अप्राप्यैव there is a vriddhi sandhi in between माम् अप्राप्य एव हे कौन्तेय ततः यान्ति अधमां गतिम् ततो यान्ति अधमां गतिम् so there are a couple of sandhis one is a visarga sandhi one is yana yanti adhama yantyadhama. So there are some sandhis. We'll get used to them. The more we see the shlokas, I think most of us are now very, very familiar. Hey Kaunteya, that's how the Anvaya sounds. Hey Kaunteya, Janmani Janmani Asurim Yonim Apannaha Mudhaha Mam Aprapya Tataha Adhamam Gatim Eva Yanti. This is known. When you get stuck into the guna, when you get bound into this Janma, into this Prakriti, tied down, this is Adhamagati. Right? So we will see what it means. Hey Kaunteya, Janmani Janmani Asurim Yonim Apannaha Te Mudhaha Mam Aprapya Tataha Adamam Gatim Eva Yanti. What does that mean? Hey Kaunteya, O Kunti Putra Arjun, Janmani Janmani, in life after life, in birth after birth, okay, Asurim Yonim Apannaha, people who attain into this Asuri birth, those Mudhaha, those deluded ones, Mam Aprapya, having not completely attaining me, having not completely getting me. See, getting Bhagavan now is pretty straightforward. It's Bhagavad Bhava, right? Basically having those nice qualities, right? Maitra, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha, something like Mam Aprapya. Tataha, after that, after not getting me, then Yanti. They will sink down to lower birth. I think this is also pretty straightforward. So almost we are now, see these last 3-4 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, there is very little variation from multiple commentaries, right? We are almost done. After the 15th chapter, it's as good as Bhagavad Gita is done. We have studied the Bhagavad Gita completely. This is almost like a Upasamhara. We are now debriefing. Hmm. So that's the we saw the Aurobindo translation. Cast into
No,
Asuric womb, deluded birth after birth, they find me not, as they do not seek me, and sink down into the lowest status of soul nature. So, if you don't become Gunatita, that is the lowly. Urdhvam gachanti sattvastha, madhye tishtanti rajasa, jaganya guna vrittistha, adho gachanti tamasa. Right? Something that we had seen earlier. Right? Now, the next sloka, we will quickly see the next sloka. त्रिविधं नरकस्येदं
त्रिविधं नरकस्येदम्
द्वारं नाशनमात्मनः
द्वारं नाशनमात्मनः
कामः क्रोधस्तथा लोभः
कामः क्रोधस्तथा लोभस्तस्मादेतत्रयम्
तस्मादेतत्त्रयं त्यजेत्
त्यजेत्।
कृष्ण कृष्ण त्रिविधं नरकस्य इदं द्वारं नाशनम् आत्मनः कामः क्रोधः तथा लोभः तस्मात् एतत्त्रयं त्यजेत्. These are the words of the sloka. When we put that into a proper prose order, we get the Anvaya, right? Kamaha, Krodha tata Lobha. Kamaha, Krodha tata Lobha. No, Atmanaha Nashanam idam Trividam Narakasya Dvaram. Tasmat etatrayam tyajet. Now, again, see, this is very important from the point of view of how is it even possible to become Gunatita, right? That's the part being answered. Three parts of Arjuna's question. This is the third part. How is it even possible? Telling Kamaha, Krodha, Tatha, Lobha, Atmanaha, Nashanam, Idam Trividam, Narakasya Dwaram, Tasmat Etat Trayam Tyajet. This is what Krishna is telling. What does that mean? Kamaha, Krodha, Tatha, Lobha. The Kama, the Krodha, and the Lobha. Lobha is that they're all seeded from the same thing. Rajo Guna Samudbhava Kama. When Kama doesn't get fulfilled, leads to Krodha. And when we don't have any check on the Kama, it becomes Lobha. No end of it. Right? Greed. Right? So, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Idam Atmanaha Nashanam Trividham. These are the three self-destructive things for a person. Idam Atmananashanam, they're destructive of the person, of the self. Trividham, threefold. Narakasya dwaram, they are the doorway to Naraka. Because they will not let you. See, when we look at this, right, it's Kama Krodha, which is the primary reason why anybody can do something wrong. When Arjuna's question came in the third chapter, Atakena Prayuktoyam Papam Charati Purusha. See, what has to be done, nobody need to be told. Everybody knows what need to be done. Whether they do is the main thing. Arjuna's question back in the Karma Yoga was very, very pertinent. Knowing everything also, why do people do wrong? Most of the people who take to smoking, not that they don't know smoking is bad. Somebody told them don't smoke. After that also they're like, let me smoke. Like it's tad viruddha. So many a times it's not like people who break the traffic signal aren't the ones who don't know the rules. They know inherently what is right, what is wrong. They break it, right? It's a deliberate thing many a times, right? Why do people do something wrong is what Arjuna's question was. Answer to that from Krishna was Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajo Guna Samudbhava. These are this Kama is the same thing. It leads to Krodha, it leads to Lobha, it leads to Mada, Moha, Matsara, everything that are Arishadvarga, whatever we call it, right? The six massive enemies. These three, they are the same. They are all rooted in that Rajoguna Samudbhava Kama. When Kama doesn't go, doesn't get checked, it leads to Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Moha, Matsarya, everything. But yeah, Krishna is now finally telling this is the Kama, Krodha, Lobha. These are the three things that are destructive to your own self. They are the gateway to Naraka. The more Papa you do, you go to Naraka. Right? Naraka is basically coming back again and again and again in different lower births. Narakasya dwaram. Tasmadeta trayam tyajet. First time he is using the word in a vidiling. Tyajet. Thou shalt give up kama, krodha, lobha. Something like that. Right? Tyajet. Vidiling lakara. Very beautiful. Right? You shall. There are some instances in the Big Gita, right? When we look at Dharma Grantha like Manu Smriti, Parashara Smriti, the words in Vidiling Lakara are perhaps maximum. No, Utshipet, Gachet, Bhavet, all of that. Right? But in Bhagavad-Gita, Bhagavanta uses this kind of a language only some 18 times. Right? So this is perhaps the last few. After this, I think there are two more words. Right? In the 18th chapter, we will see a couple of times Bhagavanta uses this kind of a language. Tajet, thou shalt not do it. Right? He has used a few earlier. In the third chapter, he starts, na prasidhyet, sharira yatra te akarmani na prasidhyet, something like that. Na buddhi bedam janayet, joshayet, sarva karmani joshayet, krishna vinna vichalayet. There are some shlokas he has used this kind of a language, but very few, not many. Right? So this is vidiling. Vidiling is basically instructive. Thou shalt do it. Thou shalt never fall into kama, krodha, lobha. Again, what is the reason why this thing had to be given up? To become gunatita. That's the question. Right? Katham cha etan teen gunanati vartate. That's the question. Right? Let's see what Aurobindo says. Threefold are the doors of hell, destructive of the soul. Atmanaha nashanam. Desire, wrath, and greed. Kama, krodha, lobha. Therefore, let man renounce these three. Shall, I would like to add, like the commandment. Thou shalt. Therefore, the man shall renounce these three, something like that. Right? Let me go to the next verse, 22. Hari Om. एतैर्विमुक्तः कौन्तेय
एतैर्विमुक्तः कौन्तेय
तमोद्वारैस्त्रिभिर्नरः
तमोद्वारैस्त्रिभिर्नरः
आचरत्यात्मनः श्रेयः
आचरत्यात्मनः श्रेयः
ततो याति परां गतिम्.
ततो याति परां गतिम्.
Krishna. Again, all about what are the signs of Gunatita, how to overcome that. And in a way, that is the state of being Chita Prajna. They all kind of, resonate in the same breath. But the context in which this is being told is different. Right? Those are the three questions from Arjuna. So how does this look like? Etaihi vimuktah kaunteya samodvaraihi tribihi naraha acharati atmanah shreyaha tataha yati param gati. Right? These are the words of the shloka. When we put them into an anvaya, he kaunteya etaihi tribihi tamodvaraihi vimuktah naraha atmanah shreyaha acharati tataha param gatim jati. Very beautiful line. Very, very direct. He kaunteya, he kunti putra Arjun, etaihi tribihi tamodvaraihi vimuktaha. Being liberated by these three tamasic doorways of hell. Tamodvaraihi tribihi vimuktaha. Naraha, the person who is freed up from these three tamasic doors. Atmanaha shreyaha acharati. He will then follow what is right for you, what right for a person. I think we keep looking at this example, right? When it comes to knowing what is right for me, it's the human life which can deliberately go wrong. A diabetic patient can binge eat gulab jamun, right? Our vasanas, we surrender to our vasanas so strongly. But the animal kingdom is not like that. A constipating dog or a cat will automatically look for the grass. If there is a road accident, there is a human being affected and the animal, say a cow being affected in the accident, even if the cow has lost one leg, it will be back on its feet and perhaps stop crying also. Once the physical pain kind of fades away, the cow is no longer crying about, oh, this bloody idiot human being came and banged his car. But we are not like that. We have that shoka, guna, right? Tamasika guna. We can go on wailing about that one particular incident for the rest of our life. And if we can manipulate our next generation of children, they will also talk about, oh, my grandfather, we were such people. My grandfather one day met with an accident. After that, our entire family charitra is completely doomed. So we can go on crying about. We don't know what is the right thing to do for ourselves. Basically, to do the Dharma Charana is about forgetting all such baggages and then kind of keep doing what needs to be done. Charayveti, charayveti. Atmanaha shreyaha acharati. Constantly doing what is right for us. We keep getting dragged down into multiple different. Every moment we have nothing good to do. We have no good room. But yesterday, many of us were, that frantically we were looking at what rooms are going on. Clubhouse is kind of completely gone. The entire look and feel is gone. But we are constantly looking at frantically. So, is some room happening? No rooms are happening. Like, we don't know what's the right thing to do. At that time, perhaps the better thing would be to engage in some Bhagavad Chintana, something we can do, right? But no, we are addicted. Many of us are addicted to social media, right? And we have that thing where we do something wrong against what is good for us, right? Atmanah Shreya Acharati. So once you completely overcome these kama, krodha, lobha, no, that kind of a person will only do what is right for him. Tataha param gatim yati. Then he will attain the highest abode. And this is how you become gunatita. Don't get entangled by the attraction, aversion. They are all for the guna. You stay away. You just uh, look at the gunas are the one who are the ultimate doer and detach yourself. So Aurobindo says, a man liberated from these doors of darkness, right? This is Kama Krodha Lobha. O son of Kunti, follows his own higher good and arrives at the highest soul status. Atmanah Shreya Acharati. Acharati. Ah is such a nice word in Chara. Right? And finally, we are now about to draw the curtains. Most important aspect of a Asuri Svabhava, Daivi Svabhava. Because human life is not independent. We are born with the knowledge of idli dosa, right? We so much so that we don't know where is the invention of idli came from, right? We have to respect the ancestry a great deal. We don't know the origin of khichdi, right? We have no idea. So the ancestry, the amount of respect we have to offer to the ancestry is immeasurable, but we are doing something wrong. So finally, the last couple of shlokas is a reminder to that. Shraddhaji, Harihi Om. Yah Shastra Vidhimutsrujya
यः शास्त्रविधिमुत्सृज्य
Vartate Kamakarataha
वर्तते कामकारतः
न स सिद्धिमवाप्नोति
न स सिद्धिमवाप्नोति
न सुखं न परां गतिम्.
न सुखं न परां गतिम्।
Krishna Krishna. Yah Shastra Vidhim Utsrujya Vartate Kamakarataha न सह सिद्धिम अवाप्नोति न सुखम न पराम गतिम. Right? The Anvaya, Yaha Shastra Vidhim Utsrujya Kamakaratah Vartate. Saha na Siddhim Avapnoti, na Sukham Avapnoti, na Param Gatim Avapnoti. That Avapnoti can be added for all the three. Na Siddhim Avapnoti, na Sukham Avapnoti, na Param Gatim Avapnoti. What does that mean? Hey Kaunteya, Arjuna, Yaha, the one who Shastra Vidhim Utsrujya, completely ignoring, disregarding the Shastra Vidhi, the injunctions given in the Shastras. Kamakaratah Vartate. Act for the sake of fulfilling his desires, following the promptings of his desires. Saha Siddhim na avapnoti. He will not attain any siddhi, no success, no proper accomplishment. Na Siddhim avapnoti. Na Sukham avapnoti. The Sukha is the internal Sukha with a lot of Shamatva. Right? Na Sukham avapnoti, na Param Gatim avapnoti. He will not get the highest place position. Again, Gunatita, surrender. We are we are just repeating this life. We are just repeating the experiences. Right? We have no idea why we are wearing clothes. We are all wearing clothes. Right? We have no idea why do we heat the food. We all heat the food. We have no idea why do we use a certain toothbrush type, toothpaste type. No, we are all conditioned already. This is ancestry, right? And then we say that, I am my own person. I am my independent brain. Like Shastras are basically codified common sense. It's a hand-me-down kind of a knowledge come down to us from the unbroken parampara, right? So Krishna is giving a lot of importance to Shastra Vidhim Utsrujya. Yaha Shastra Vidhim Utsrujya Kamakaratah Vartate. Saha na Siddhim Avapnoti, na Sukham Avapnoti, na Param Gatim Avapnoti. No, he who having cast aside the rules of the Shastra, follows the promptings of desire for self-accomplished desires, attains not the perfection, siddhi, nor happiness, no sukham, nor the highest soul status, na paragati. Very simple, right? So we are almost concluding now. Last loka, Hari Om. Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te
तस्मात् शास्त्रं प्रमाणं ते
Karya Karya Vyavasthitau
कार्याकार्यव्यवस्थितौ
ज्ञात्वा शास्त्रविधानोक्तम्
ज्ञात्वा शास्त्रविधानोक्तं
कर्म कर्तुमिहार्हसि.
कर्म कर्तुमिहार्हसि।
Krishna Krishna. Padacheda. Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Akarya Vyavasthitau Jnatva Shastra Vidhana Uktam Karma Kartum Iha Arhasi. Let's see the Anvaya. He Kaunteya Tasmat Te Karya Akarya Vyavasthitau Shastram Pramanam Shastra Vidhana Uktam Jnatva Iha Karma Kartum Arhasi. Very beautiful, right? What is it that we have to do? Tasmat, therefore, te karya akarya vyavastitau, in determining your karya akarya, what to be done and what not to be done. Shastram pramanam. Shastra is the reference. Shastra is the authority. Shastra vidhana uktam jnatva. Whatever is the vidhana spoken by the Shastra, knowing that very well. Iha karma kartum arhasi. You have an authority, you have the permission to carry out your karma only after knowing that. Only after knowing the Shastra Vidhana. Right? That's in essence the Daiva Asura Sampat. In Asura, it's all about I, me, myself, no end. And when we look at our human life, we are nothing without ancestry. No, if we have to compare ourselves with any other animal form, life form, they are not as vulnerable as we are for some of the luxuries that are given to us by our ancestry, a collective ancestry, right? Like right from a place to dwell. So much so that they haven't just given us the technology, the knowledge of how to construct a house for ourselves. In fact, it's all Pitrarjita. Our household, most of our houses are already given by them. Right? And ancestry is what has given us the Shastra, all the methods. They have documented. They have kind of, put them down. They heard them. They experienced them. They grasped those divine wordings. The Shastras are all based on the Bhagavad Tattva. Like our ancestry have been the conduits of filtering them, condensing them, distilling them, and presenting to us. Right? So to Arjuna, the message is very, very simple. When we and this is why I think most people say that whether we follow the grihastha life in a yajna kind of a way, being the karmacharis, right? Or whether we lead the path of bhakti, whether we lead the path of jnana, swadhyaya, anything. At the end of the day, they all take us to the same one particular path. When you look at the Bhagavad-Gita, the upaya, the Bhagavad upaya, the path to attain the goal, we have 18 yoga, 18 different yoga. You can attain in any different form. Through the bhakti, through the jnana, through the karma, through the sankhya, through the raja yoga, no, purushottama yoga. Now we have just concluded by just mastering the understanding of Daiva Asura Sampat, we will be able to attain that perfection. And most of this is given in the Shastra. Do these things for the Bhagavad Tattva, we are automatically cultivating that Daivi Sampat. So let's quickly see what Aurobindo has to say for this Aurobindo interpretation. Therefore, let the Shastra be your authority in determining what ought to be done or what not to be done. Knowing what has been declared by the Shastra, the rules of the Shastra, you ought to work in this world. You have to work in this world. That brings us to the conclusion of yet another chapter. But we have a question from Arjuna. Harihi Om Atha Saptadashodhyayah Arjuna Uvacha
अर्जुन उवाच
Ye Shastra Vidhimutsrujya
ये शास्त्रविधिमुत्सृज्य
Yajante Shraddhayanvitaः
यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः
Tesham Nishtha tu ka Krishna
तेषां निष्ठा तु का कृष्ण
Satvamaho Rajastamaha
सत्त्वमाहो रजस्तमः.
Krishna Krishna. Arjuna has a question now. Right? The last question from Arjuna that came in the 14th chapter has been addressed in multiple installments. Right? One part of the question got answered in the 14th chapter itself. One part of the question got answered in the 15th and the 16th, 14th and the 15th chapter. And another section of that question got answered in the 16th chapter. Right? All about Gunati Tattva. But Arjuna has a new question now. Arjuna Uvacha, Padacheda says, right? ये शास्त्र विधिम उत्सृज्य यजन्ते श्रद्धया अन्विताः तेषां निष्ठा तु का कृष्ण सत्वमाहो रजः तमः. अव्यय अर्जुन उवाच हे कृष्ण ये शास्त्र विधिम उत्सृज्य श्रद्धया अन्विताः यजन्ते तेषां निष्ठा तु का सत्वं रजः आहो तमः. What does that sound like? Let us see the dictionary. Hey Krishna, oh Krishna, ye shastra vidhim utsrujya, those having abandoned all these injunctions in the Shastra, as called out in the Shastra, right? Having given up those, but Shraddhaya Anvitaha, but they are endowed with faith, right? Those who are endowed with faith, Shraddhaya Anvitaha, Yajanti, those who perform the sacrifices, right? Tesha Nishtha Tuka, what kind of a Nishtha, is seen in them? Okay, Nishtha is basically a practice, one path, credence, position. What is the nishtha in them? Is it sattva, sattvam, rajaha, aho, tamaha? Is it sattva? Is it rajas or is it tamas? Right? Because everybody will have to omit some injunctions of the shastra. Right? So, what kind of a thing do you see in the among the people who will compromise on the shastra vidhi, but are properly shraddha anvita, shraddhaya anvita? What kind of a nishtha do you see in those people? Arjuna said, when men sacrifice to God or the gods with faith, with proper Shraddha. See, Shraddha, again, we need to remind ourselves, it's a loaded word. Sumanatva, Shuddhamatitva, Anindakatva, Ananyagatitva. These are the four aspects that will add up to being called a Shraddha. Right? When men sacrifice to God or gods with proper Shraddha and not as a sacrifice. Sacrifice is one crude word. Yajna is basically yajna. When people do the yajna, right, with proper shraddha, but abandon the shastra vidhi, rule of the shastra. What is that concentrated will of devotion in them? What is the nature of nishtha in them, which gives them the faith and moves them to this kind of an action, O Krishna? Is it sattva, rajas, or tamas? No? What kind of a faith is it of people that do these kind of yajnas? even even though it looks like a bit of a compromise to the Shastras, but they are Shraddhaya Anvita. So Bhagavan answers, Harihi Om, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha,
श्रीभगवानुवाच
Trividha Bhavati Shraddha,
त्रिविधा भवति श्रद्धा
Dehinam Sa Svabhavaja,
देहिनां सा स्वभावजा।
सात्विकी राजसी चैव
सात्विकी राजसी चैव
तामसी चेति तान् शृणु।
तामसी चेति तां शृणु।
कृष्ण कृष्ण। You see the Padacheda, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Trividha Bhavati Shraddha, Dehinam, Sa Svabhavaja, Satviki, Rajasi Cha Eva, Tamasi Cha Iti, Tam Shrunu. So, Krishna is telling something to Arjuna. Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Dehinam, Sa Svabhavaja Shraddha, Satviki, Rajasi Cha Tamasi Cha Iti, Trividha Eva Bhavati, Tam Shrunu. Oh, Krishna is answering. Oh Arjuna, Dehinam, in all the Dehis, in all the people who are the embodied beings, right? They have a Deha. We all have a Deha. Right? So the ones inside the Deha is all of us, right? We're all Dehis. Among all the Dehis, Sa Swabhavata Shraddha, that Shraddha which is born from their own Swabhava, Swabhavat Jayati. Swabhavaja Shraddha. So Shraddha which is born from their own Swabhava, from their own innate Prakritika nature, right? Satviki, Rajasi cha Tamasi cha iti Trividha eva bhavati. That Shraddha is of three types. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Tam Shrunu. Hear that from me now. I think this is like a Pratignya shloka. Bhagavan is just declaring, oh yes, there are three types of Nishtha. There are three types of Shraddha. Even so, when you don't follow the injunction completely to the T, and you are Shraddhaya Anvita, the Shraddha is also of three types. Listen to them from me. There is a Sattvika Shraddha, there is a Rajasika Shraddha, there is a Tamasika Shraddha. Listen to them from me. Bhagavan says, right? Very, very simple. The Aurobindo interpretation is simple. The blessed Lord, Bhagavan, said, the faith, Shraddha, in embodied beings, in Dehinam, is of triple kind. Trividha Bhavati. Like all things in nature, like everything else is Swabhavaja, nature. Varies according to the dominating quality of their nature. Right? This is something that we were taught, no, in the 14th chapter when explaining the equation between the three gunas. Rajastamastabhibhuya Sattvam Bhavati Bharata. So, the three gunas, they try to constantly win the three-way tug of war, to take the dominant position by subduing the other two. And that's what Aurobindo says. And varies according to the dominating quality of their nature. Swabhavaja, by their own nature, sometimes sattva is predominant. That doesn't mean that tamas is not there. No, tamas is also there. Rajas is also there. Right? Everything is there. Please bear with this. One moment. Okay. I keep getting disturbed today quite often. So the Shraddha, because of their own Swabhavika, Prakritika nature, sometimes it can be Sattva, sometimes can be Rajas, or sometimes it can be Tamasic. Hear them from me, hear thou of these, Tam Shrunu, listen to them. This is like a pratigna, right? We will see the next shloka, Hari Om. Om. Sattvanurupa sarvasya
सत्त्वानुरूपा सर्वस्य
Shraddha bhavati bharata
श्रद्धा भवति भारत।
Shraddhamayoyam purushah
श्रद्धामयोऽयं पुरुषः
yo yachraddha sa eva saha.
यो यच्छ्रद्धः स एव सः।
Krishna Krishna. Sattva anurupa sarvasya shraddha bhavati bharata. Shraddhamayah ayam purushah. Yaha yat shraddha saha eva saha. Very nice. Right? What does that mean? Let's first see the Anvaya. Hey Bharata. Very nice, right? So Bharata is the most commonly occurring Sambodhana for Arjuna in these last, the third Shakta. After the 13th chapter, it's repeatedly Bharata, Bharatastabha, all of them. Hey Bharata. सर्वस्य श्रद्धा सत्व अनुरूपा भवति. अयं पुरुषः श्रद्धामयः. यः यच्छ्रद्धः सः एव सः. There are three parts, right? सर्वस्य श्रद्धा सत्व अनुरूपा भवति. That's the first part. अयं पुरुषः श्रद्धामयः. Second part. यः यच्छ्रद्धः सः एव सः. Right? Basically helping understand what kind of a shraddha. There are three types of shraddhas, right? Tamasika, Rajasika, Sattvika. That's what we heard in the previous shloka. Now he's telling, Hey Bharata, O Bharata, Sarvasya Shraddha Sattva Anurupa. Everybody's Shraddha is according to the stuff of their own guna, according to the truth, the Sattva Anurupa, right? Of their own self. Bhavati, it takes shape. Sattva, we saw this some time ago. Sattva can mean three different ways. Sattva is Bhagavan. Sattva is one of the guna, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. And Sattva is also Jiva. And Jiva, when we look at some of the things, ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham, all of that, right? Yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktaha shraddhaya chitamichyati tasya tasya chalam shraddham tameva vidadhamyaham. When we see some of the earlier messages in the Gita, it's quite clear that Jivatma follows its karma phala. Basically, what it has to take next, the Jivatma will follow. And karma phalas are basically all these uh, gunatita. No, sorry, guna upeta. Like, they're loaded with the guna. All our karma phalas, they have our vasanas. All of them are loaded with the guna, right? The Jiva Anurupa, the Sarvasya Shraddha Sattva Anurupa, Sarvasya Shraddha Tasya Tasya Jiva Anurupa, Jivatma Anurupa. They follow the Jivatma. If I, in my current Janma, have taken the shape, my Jivatma has taken the shape of the Shraddha kind of a life, Sattva kind of a life, then my Shraddha automatically becomes Shraddha. No, it's a Sattva, something like that. Shraddha just follows whatever the Jivatma is taking to Bhavati. No, Sarvasya Shraddha Jiva Anurupa, Sattva Anurupa Bhavati. Ayam Purushaha Shraddhamayah. This Purusha, this person is loaded with Shraddha, but we all have our own way of Shraddha. See, as much as when we see the constant debate between WhatsApp University, somebody is a product of WhatsApp University. The person, most often than not, the person accusing somebody else of WhatsApp University is also graduating from another WhatsApp University. And everyone is graduating from WhatsApp University, but they have a slandering, something like a condescending kind of a tone. Oh, you are a WhatsApp University product and things like that, right? Everybody is. People say that religion is blind belief. Science has much more blind belief than religion. When we look at the scientific trials, we blindly believe. We think it is a proper fact. But every scientific trial also, when they say research has proven that, these benefits are there in these administering of dosages and things, some hypothetical situation. There is always a margin of error. There is always a confidence interval. Statistically, there are gray areas, right? So there is a lot of shraddha. There is a blind belief in many, many aspects. In every aspect, like there is no weather prediction agency which can accurately predict, because some bit of it is science, some bit of it is belief, and they go with the belief. Right? Everything will have blind belief, right? And they have their own way, in their own gunatmika way. So, ayam purushaha shraddhamayah. Everyone is made of shraddha. When I might be skeptical when I take the medicine from the Ayurvedic practitioner, and I might have fallen for the white coat of the English medicine practitioner, and somebody who doubts the English medicine might be taking the Ayurveda practitioner blindly. All of us are having a shraddha, right? Person going to the English doctor is also having shraddha. The person going to Ayurvedic doctor takes the medicine from the Ayurvedic doctor should also have the shraddha. Without shraddha, This Purusha by nature, man is by nature Shraddhamayaha. We blindly gave whatever was given to us as food by people around us. We continue to do that. Shraddhamayaha, I am Purushaha. By nature, the life of a man is Shraddhamayaha. Very, very hard hitting fact. We think that no, we are very, very rational, but we are not. We are all by nature, we are Shraddhamayaha Purushaha. Yaha yat Shraddha saha saha eva. Whatever Shraddha, type of Shraddha you see, we have the elaboration of the three types of Shraddha. Maybe we'll keep it for next week. Next week we'll come back to meet at again 8 o'clock. Today we were running a little late, half an hour late. No, whatever the Shraddha, type of Shraddha you see in the person, that person is that only. Saha saha eva. And we will talk about the three types of Shraddha in the next class. We will adjourn today. Let's see what Aurobindo says. The faith, the Shraddha of each man takes a shape given to it by its stuff of being, by Jivatma. Basically follows the Jivatma, all the Prarabdha. And again, they will all link up to Guna because this chapter is called Shraddha Traya Vibhaga. After seeing the Guna Traya Vibhaga, now it's the Shraddha Traya Vibhaga, right? Three types of Shraddha. So, O Bharata, the faith, the Shraddha of each man takes a shape given to it by its stuff of being, Sattva Anurupa. This Purusha, this soul in the man, is as it were made of Shraddha, Shraddha Mayaha Ayam Purusha. A faith, a will to be, a belief in itself and existence. And whatever is that will, faith or constituting belief in the person, Yaha Yat Shraddha, he is that and that is he. Saha Saha Eva. So we will have the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas composition in all of us, and that itself is our Shraddha. We display certain type of Shraddha, and we are that. They are the same. That's what Krishna tells. We will adjourn now. It's 10 o'clock India time. The word by word breakdown of the Gita shloka. And from Sunday to Saturday at 6 o'clock India time, we do the Parayana, roughly 100 shlokas of Gita every day. That will help us complete all the shlokas, the complete Bhagavad-Gita in a week. So every week is a Gita Saptaha for us. But we do the Artha Chintana only once a week. So far we have covered 16 chapters. The last couple of chapters left. So every Saturday we will be chanting these two chapters. So next week onward, if you come for the guided chanting also, 6 o'clock in the morning, we all would have chanted the same slokas that we will do the remaining Artha Chintana also. The Pratipadartha is now left with only chapter 17 and 18 now. So we are now the fifth shloka. So the fourth shloka we will see next week. So next Saturday we will continue from 17.4. So beautifully we saw the complete answer to Arjuna about the Gunatitatva. What are the signs of a Gunatita? What are the activities of a Gunatita? And how is it even possible to become Gunatita for somebody? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Tyajet. Give up. So that's the answer we got from Bhagavan today. Arjuna has a new question. Help me understand the nature of a Shraddha, the Nishtha of a Shraddha, of people who are compromising on the scripture. We all are compromisers of the scripture. So we have some message from Bhagavan, the Shraddha Traya Vibhaga. We will continue about the Shraddha Traya Vibhaga next Saturday. In the meanwhile, if anybody has any thoughts, okay, if there are no further thoughts, we can close the room. Thanks once again, everyone, for joining. This is something that we do every day, guided chanting, and weekly once, Artha Chintana. And we also have something not exactly the same, but similar for Bhagavad-Gita every day in the evening at 8:30 p.m. From uh, Sunday to Friday, we will have the practice of the shlokas, and on Saturdays we will look at the meaning of the shlokas. One chapter in a week. So today we will be looking at the meaning of chapter 12 of the Ekadasha Skandha, the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is the part of Uddhava Gita. So we are in the fifth chapter of Uddhava Gita, fifth or sixth chapter. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have seen 6 chapters. So now it's the seventh chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, which is essentially the 12th chapter of the 11th skandha. Right? So we have 18 chapters to go, and the next 18 weeks we are targeting Uddhava Gita to be completed. So today evening, those of you interested, please to join us. We will do the Artha Chintana of chapter 12 today, and from tomorrow we will have the guided chanting of chapter 13. So for 6 days, we can practice ourselves reciting the shlokas, and the seventh day we can look at the meaning of the shlokas of that chapter, so that our appreciation of the chapter will be slightly better. That's the whole idea. With that, on the reverse count of three, we will conclude the room. We can conclude the room, no, Sudhaji, Shraddhaji? Okay, let's conclude now on the reverse count of three. Those of you who are in a good space, please join us for a small Jai Ghosti. 3, 2, 1. Namaste Vasudevaya Preyasame Priyottama Samasta Guna Sampurna Nirdoshanandadayine Mukhopi Yatrasadena Mukunda Shayanayate Rajarajayate Rikto Raghavendram Tamashraye Bharati Ramana Mukhya Pranantarata Shri Gopala Krishna Priyata Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Have a beautiful weekend, everyone. Have a beautiful week ahead. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
जय श्री
Jai
कृष्ण
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Jai Shri Krishna.